time to maximize profitability and cash flow. It's time to learn habits and hacks from the best e-com CEOs. It's time for Return on Podcast with me, Tyler Jefcoat. Hey guys, today I want to walk you through how to calculate and how to use your inventory turns basically as a means to manage your business better. Tyler Jefcoat, seller accountant. Return on Podcast is my normal show. I'm doing this mini series on some additional KPIs that you need to be your own CFO. You may not be ready to hire a team like mine. We've talked a lot about profitability. We've talked a lot about increasing your batting average with the return on inventory investment. Well, today I want to talk about how to increase the number of at-bats you get by measuring and then managing your annual inventory turns. Let's dive in. So quick reminder before we dive into the math. This is your classic inventory cycle. You are going to pay cash or have a loan or AP that you own. You're going to purchase product. That product is going to sit in your kind of theoretical warehouse for some number of months until you sell it. That warehouse might be FBA, it might be a 3PL, it might be your garage. I don't know. It's going to sit as an inventory asset, and then you're going to expense it in the month that you ship the units to your customers in the form of cost of goods sold. All of us need to be using accrual accounting, where this wheel that I'm showing you is what we're doing. And all of us need to have some kind of a spreadsheet like I'm showing you up here, where we take our factory invoices for our individual SKUs and load in some of the crucial additional expenses. Inbound freight tends to be the biggest one. Some categories still deal with some tariffs. You may or may not, but you're going to load in things that you want to allocate to your units so that you can move upwards from your factory cost of goods sold up to a true landed cost of goods sold, right? But once you've done that, you're booking your cogs each and every month, right? Like this P&L I'm showing you here. We've been booking cost of goods sold for this particular seller for some number of months. And we want to know how many times we're turning our inventory. And the math is really, really simple. I'm going to offer you a free calculator that if you want it, reach out to me. But boy, is this one going to be disappointing, guys. The math is so easy here that you're going to be like, bro, really? You created a calculator for that? And I don't feel great about it, but I did because I wanted you guys to have it. But literally, if I were to pull up that profit and loss statement like I did for the seller a minute ago, and I get my last 12 completed months cost of goods sold, what's the actual product COGS that I expensed over that last 12 months? I'm going to get a number. And then I'm going to go look at my balance sheet and get that ending inventory balance. And I'm going to put it here. And guess what happens? Trailing 12-month COGS divided by inventory gives me the number of turns. How many times per year? In other words, like the example on the screen here, if I have sold through $250,000 worth of inventory in the form of COGS in the last year, and I have exactly $250,000 on my balance sheet as an inventory balance, I have sold through that inventory exactly once for the year. That would be pretty low, by the way. This would be an example that I wouldn't be super happy with as your CFO. My sincere hope is that you're selling a lot more than that. So let me show you what I would say is a more normal instance here. Let's say that my cost of goods sold for the last year is $500,000. I only have $250,000 sitting on my balance sheet. I have sold through my inventory twice a year. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not bad. It's pretty good. What I'm even happier with is if I can sell through my inventory 4 times a year, where I'm really getting to use that dollar or that euro or that whatever my currency of choice is. I want to be able to use it over and over and over again, because guess what? This first guy here who only turned the inventory once a year only gets to use his dollar once. If he wants to grow his business, he has to go borrow more money. But this person in the middle here has 2 turns per year. That means I got to redeploy that same cash, not once, but twice. And whatever my profit was, I get to get double that profit for the year without having to reborrow money. But wait, it gets even better. If I'm able to turn my inventory 4 times a year or 7 times a year or 10 times a year, if I can turn it every month, that means that I get to use that same dollar. I get more at bats, right? My profitability percentages are kind of like my batting average. And the number of times I get to turn my inventory each year is my at bats. And so if I want to get more home runs as a hitter, I either need to increase my batting average or I need to increase the number of at bats I get. And it's the same thing for your inventory investments. I want to increase that return on inventory investment as much as possible. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And then I want to make sure that I'm focused on increasing the velocity of cash through my company as much as possible. Now, practically, what does this look like? This could take the form of a couple of different things. If you're like, by the way, you're looking at your inventory turns, you went and you pulled your P&L for the last 12 months, you looked at those cost of goods sold number, you put that on the top of the line, and you divided it by whatever your current inventory is, and you didn't like it. You got a number that was like 1.2 or 1.5. You're like, oh gosh, this is not good. I've got way too much inventory. What do you do about that? Well, a couple of things you can do. One is you can sell through bad SKUs, right? If you may have identified that you have some ASINs in your portfolio that aren't performing, they're moving too slowly. And by the way, this is almost always the case. If I have a larger portfolio, anything even more than like 20 or 25 products, it is entirely possible that I just way over purchased the green one. I didn't mean to buy 500 units of the green one. I'm only selling one a day. Dadgummit, I've got almost 2 years worth of the green one. I need to make the decision to not treat the green one like my baby. I need to liquidate it, get my cash back out of it, and find a product that I can sell, 6 a day instead of 1 a day, or right, that kind of thing. Another thing you can do tactically is this is where you find your leverage to renegotiate your supplier terms. So, for instance, you may find, depending on how strong your cash position is, if you have really, really slow inventory turns, what you would love to get from your supplier is permission to pay them later. If I can just hold on to my cash another month, that makes it a lot easier and I don't have to go borrow the cash. I can kind of overcome how slow my velocity is. If I can lower those MOQs where I don't have to order as much, that's another way. If I can get better inventory visibility, maybe I bring on an inventory management system or improve my processes for managing each of my ASINs. That's a third way that I can afford to wait later before I order more inventory because I'm going to know when it's going to hit the bottom and I'm going to have better data. Those are all things you could do to improve the inventory turns of your business. If you have little bits of inventory sitting in a lot of different warehousing networks, maybe you choose to simplify and use FBA plus my FBA prep or something like that, and you just simplify your supply chain. So there are lots of things you can do in terms of getting better supplier terms, in terms of selling through crappy inventory. And what you're looking to do is increase the number of at-bats you're getting with your dollar every year, because it kind of doesn't matter how profitable a product is if it takes you 5 years to sell it, right? I may have the best margins in the world, but if I'm having to sit on that inventory for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and by the way, I've seen this, that's a bad investment. I need to make sure that I am maximizing the number of turns I have per year. We'll end this video with that. And this will continue to lead us into a discussion that we've had a few weeks ago about return on working capital, which is kind of the intersection of profitability and velocity. Until next time, guys, take care.